Dondo show. Popping. Dot Dada back in the flesh. What's up, y'all? What's up, Craig? Oh man. Give y'all some little time. Y'all ain't been tapping in with me though. I see a lot of hate going on. I've been wondering what's popping. I support me. Where's the hate coming from? Today was a good day. A lot of good football coming up this week, but we want to get to uh, we want to get to last week's events. We had a lot of really good games. Really good games. Um, again, Georgia had a bye. Hopefully they worked on their offense. You know, tight end is big. Brock Bowers is probably the a top five player in the country. You know, regardless of position. Uh, I think he'll go in the first five picks in the NFL draft Sunday. So that's a huge loss. And I was told that he most likely won't come back after winning two titles. He doesn't have a whole lot to prove in college. Wants to keep his, but knowing what I know about him and what he kind of stands for, I think he comes back. I see championship maybe. I haven't really looked at the latest updates on Brock Bowers, but Georgia had a bye, so Michigan they downright just kicked Michigan State, and I wonder what happened to Michigan State because just not even a little over a year ago they gave their coach an extension, a huge extension, like, and then they fire him buku amounts of money to just go away. Um, it's crazy. Um, but yeah, Michigan 49-0 over Michigan State. Uh, one of the games of the weekend that a lot of people didn't like it because there wasn't a lot of scoring, but uh, you that was a really good game. Marvin Harrison proved. I mean, both defenses. Now, let me tell you, both of those defenses are really good. can match up with anybody. You're not gonna score. I don't see nobody scoring 40 or 50 on them guys. Like they just make it so tough to run the ball, and they mix a lot of coverages. Um, Even Marvin Harrison Jr. had trouble getting open in that game. He did make some plays, but they were tough receptions. Like I mean, they had to do a lot to get him open. Uh, and the play of the game, I can't think of the defensive line. There was a linebacker that had a strip and go, and he stripped and go and I called back for holding on. Uh, Defensive back was holding Marvin Harrison Jr. and from there, Ohio State scored the first touchdown of the game. I had said whoever probably scored the first touchdown of the game would probably win that game. It ended up being 20-12. Penn State scored a touchdown late, but once that touchdown was scored after the, it kind of just went Ohio State's way the rest of the game. Florida State and Duke was very interesting. The first half, Duke was in control of that game. And their quarterback, I don't know what was going on with their quarterback. There hasn't really been a lot of talk, but he didn't play much the second half. And Florida State scored 21 points in the second half and put that game away. Um, didn't even make it look close. Duke had 20 and a half and then didn't score no points in the second half. Florida State has proven they're a second half team all year. But that was Florida State is, to me, they're one of the teams to beat. Like, I don't know. Um, they're one of the top 2, 3 teams in the country. Washington had a scare. Now let me say something. Everybody's looking at this game and they're looking at Arizona State's 1-6 record, but Arizona State has played everybody tough. They have played everybody tough. I'm gonna run down their schedule to you so you can really, digest. Um, they lost to Oklahoma State. It was kind of close. Fresno State just flat out embarrassed them. Um, the USC game was real close. Then they lose by 3 to Cal and 3 to Colorado, and then they turn around and 15-7 one possession game. Like, they're getting better. They're not a top 25 team by no means, but they're getting better and they make games tough for you. They still have, I mean, I don't see a win on their schedule. They got Washington, Utah, UCLA, Oregon, and Arizona. They finish out with, those have all been ranked teams. Some are still ranked at some point. So, uh, you know, hats off to them. They played a good game, but it was rough. It's rough. Anyways, let's get back to scores and highlights. Uh, Oklahoma. I really don't want to say a whole lot about this game. I was disappointed they did not play football like they should. I mean, UCF did come back. Their quarterback did come back. But the thing about it is if you're a top 10, top 5 team, you have to play like it every week. You got to put a team like that away early. You can't let them hang around. There was a bad call as a 2-point conversion that could have tied that game. UCF was in control of that game from mid first quarter to probably mid fourth quarter. They were in control of that game. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They ran the ball good. I can't think of the back. He had over 100 yards rushing. He had some receive. He made some plays. He seemed to be the best player on the field during that game. Um, but hats off to a couple of guys from OU. They stepped up and made some plays down the street. They got some tough ones coming up. Kansas, Oklahoma State. I'm pretty sure, like, Oklahoma has a game every year where they play like that. So it's hard for me to put them in the top 10, considering that. Because I base top 10 teams on who you played and how you perform. Beating UCF by 2 points, it's not impressive to me. Um, in Texas, and and see, this is the thing that people don't understand. You're only as good as who you beat. So if you only beat one ranked team, you gotta hope that team keeps winning. Because if they lose a couple or one more, they could be out of the top 25 easily. There's a whole bunch of teams sitting at 5-2, 4-2 that's not ranked that could be ranked. Whole bunch in the Big 12 that's 5-2. You got Oklahoma State, you got Kansas State, you got who else was it? There was three teams I seen that sitting at 5-2. But BYU is the third team sitting at 5-2, and they're not ranked. So Texas jumped out, 21 was 21-0. It got close. Houston had a chance down the stretch, a 4th and 1. They got a horrible spot. I did not like the 4th and 1 play call, but I kind of understand good all game, so I don't see a handoff in that situation. Um, I just don't understand these teams. You need less than a yard or something, and you line up in shotgun. Like, come on, man, come on. Um, Oregon and Washington State, that was kind of good first half. You know, 17-13 at half was real close. Oregon came out in the third quarter and asserted. It ended up being a 14 point. It was closer than 14 points though. Washington State played pretty well. Sad to say, Washington State is 4-3, 1-3 in the Pac-12. The Pac-12 still looking like the best conference. And then we get to our upset of the weekend. Let's talk about Virginia and North Carolina, because everybody's like, is North Carolina really that good? But I honestly think Virginia is pretty good. I mean, you look at Virginia's schedule. And they've played Tennessee, who blew them out, and then they played James Madison. Um, James Madison is undefeated, and James Madison beat them by 1 point. They go to Maryland. I can see you getting blew out in Maryland, at Maryland. NC State, they lose a close one. Boston College, they lose another close one. Boston College played Florida State pretty tough. Probably the toughest Florida State's been played this year. Then they beat William and Mary. They finally get on the winning board. Then they beat North Carolina. Now they're at Miami this week. Let's hope the Canes take care of business. Alabama and Tennessee, that was a really, really good game. Tennessee jumped out. You know, they were up. They jumped out. Was it 20-7? I think it was 20-7. They jumped out early, and Alabama seemed like they clicked the second half like they haven't this whole year. Um, their quarterback, he's never going to be the most accurate guy. He was 14 for 21 for 200 and some yards. Pretty good game for him. He made some plays down the stretch. They got the running game going, which has been a question mark. Usually not. Offensive line has been banged up. But down the stretch, If Alabama gets their quarterback acting right, or not just acting right, if they get on the same page with the offense, Alabama could be scary because they have the defense. Their defense can match up with anybody. So don't count Alabama out. Don't throw the dirt on Alabama till they in the grave because they just have one loss. And down the stretch, they're going to have some favorable games that if they win those games and get to an SEC championship against a Georgia, most likely, and win that game, Alabama could be in the college football playoff. Don't count them out. Let's see if y'all tapping in, cause I'm just, you know, I'm feeling myself today. You know, I'm feeling myself today. Everything's been good. Um, I love talking football, man. 90 years old today, and I called him and we talked about football. Huge football fan. I love my Uncle Charles. 90 years old today, man. Amazing. A blessing. Um, Ole Miss. Ole Miss and Auburn. Auburn is another team. They're sitting at 3-4 and 0-4 in the SEC. But did you know the most points they given up this year in 7 games is 28 points, and that was just last game? They gave up 27 to Georgia. They are a tough They might have the best defense in the SEC. Auburn. Auburn might have the best defense in the SEC right now. And they're sitting at 3-4. They got a tough schedule to get bowl eligible. They only got 5 games left. They're going to be attractive bowls because they travel well. They'll probably get a better bowl than most teams with their record just because of how their fans travel. Um, Utah and USC. Poor Caleb Williams. Y'all just baked Caleb Williams this past week. And I'm just like, why, man? That dude comes to play every game, you know. The offense. The offense plays well every game. But y'all just baked them all week, saying now the rumors are saying that, Lincoln Riley's going to the Chicago Bears. Lincoln Riley is a young coach. Trust me. He's a top 5 coach in college football. He's the best offensive mind to me besides, him and Sarkisian, I'll put them neck and neck. There's some other guys that I really like. I seen Gus Malzahn. I like his play calling. I've also, um, Hugh Freeze. There's some guys, but Lincoln Riley is the guy. Don't get it. Don't let them confuse that bullshit. All that bullshit y'all be talking about. Lincoln Riley is a damn good coach. You think about him trying to overhaul that whole U.S. And he didn't take what y'all said he took. He had to overhaul that whole roster, and he's still not in what was a pretty bad roster. He brought Caleb there. He brought 2 or 3 guys there with him that's still there, and that's not enough. Get rid of Grinch. I would wait to the end of the year to get rid of Grinch and start over and start rebuilding because Caleb's going to be gone. You're going to be breaking in. It's going to be a whole quarterback next year. Whole bunch of teams breaking in a new quarterback next year. So USC, they they're just a Utah is just a bad matchup for them. USC is a finesse team. Utah is gritty. They gonna make it tough. Utah gonna play anybody tough, but they're extra motivated when they play USC. So they jump. I applaud USC for coming back. Caleb is always gonna score. Like last week was the worst game I ever seen him play when he played against Notre Dame, and some of it was trying too hard, some of it was play calling, some of it was he just doesn't have the guys. Those receivers he got are second tier, third tier receivers. No disrespect, they're not Marvin. Some of these guys that you see, some just, they're not them. You know, so you have to look at what weapons he has. He hasn't had a consistent running game since he's been there. To me, not what you're accustomed to seeing at USC. So, hats off to the third team quarterback from Utah. He made that, and I just don't know how you jump in man to man like that and let him just rush for 26 yards on a third and long. Like at that point, you got to make him get rid of that ball. You don't go coverage at that point. You know what I'm saying? You send some heat. You can get rid of the ball quick and force a long field goal. But, you know, it's easy to coach from the sideline, is what I was told. So, I'm not going to say what the coach should have did or could have did because I'm not in the moment. But hats off to Utah. They beat USC 3 times in a row. They made the point to want to beat USC. So hats off to them. Um, LSU LSU is looking like if they wouldn't have had to play them tougher games earlier, I wouldn't want to play at LSU right now. We're about to see LSU versus Alabama. And that could be the winner of that could be going to most likely will be going to you know the SEC championship to play Georgia, and I think either one of those teams can beat Georgia. LSU is looking they're getting it together. Daniels, their quarterback, is having a great. He's turned it up a lot. Um, I wouldn't want to play LSU right now. Missouri dumped on South. I'm disappointed in South Carolina. You know, South. I thought South Carolina was turning the curve. Now you're gonna lose Spencer Rattler to the draft. You're gonna have to break in a new quarterback. I don't know who your backup quarterback is, but things are not looking up for Shane Beamer in South Carolina. Um, Shouts out to Air Force. Air Force, I think they've won. What was it? If they win their next game, they set a record for most regular season wins in a row. Air Force is 7-0. They beat Navy 17-6. Typical Air Force Navy game, defense, grind it out, that kind of thing. Tulane, beating up on North Texas. North Texas made it close. Another, I wouldn't say the teams are ranked. It was an upset. Um, Iowa, Minnesota. That was a good, you know, um, I didn't get to see much of that. I did see a punt return that got called back in that game, and I never. It's hard to watch Iowa play. Granted, they got good players, but they're hard to watch. UCLA did their thing, Chip Kelly. I wouldn't want to see them down the road. I want to look at their schedule because they do have a chance to make some noise. I don't think they can make it to the college football playoff, but they have Colorado coming up at Arizona, Arizona State. Those are all winnable games. Then they have USC and Cal. They could easily be 10-2. You know, would be one of the better records that he's had. He's starting a freshman quarterback, so there's a learning curve. Their 2 losses are to 2 ranked teams, Utah and Oregon State. So um, look out for UCLA down the stretch. I think they can make some things happen. Uh, you know, and but um, there was some unranked games that I thought was really really well. Real good games. Yeah, shouts out to my SMU people. They thumped up Temple 55-0. Temple is a train wreck right now. So, let's see. Where was we at? OSU. Oklahoma State is playing football right now, man. They are looking good. They've won their last three games. Everybody was saying this was a game they should lose in Morgantown. And they go to Morgantown and they put up 28 in the fourth quarter and they win by 14. Huge game by Ollie Gordon. 280 yards and four touchdowns. He is right now. It seems like he's picking the right holes, just doing his thing. Um, Quarterback play kind of iffy, but they're winning. And they got some games. If they make it through this Cincinnati game, like I said, they make it through this Cincinnati game. They are going to that battle. This last Bedlam could be special. Um, Let me see if I've seen any other games. Nebraska 4-3. They got a chance to get to 8 wins maybe down the stretch. Well, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be good to check them out and see. Uh, there was another game that I wanted to talk about. Uh, Somebody's at the door, I think. Oh, what's up? Um, the I'm trying to think of what game that was. That the game that I wanted to talk about. Baylor beat up Cincinnati, close one. Oh, Mississippi State and Arkansas, 7-3, and Dan Enos gets fired. Um, I don't know what happened. I guess they're gonna blame him for their offense. Who was their offensive coordinator last year? Because whoever he was, he had that offense rolling. They were really KJ Jefferson was a different kind of cat last year. Uh, he's not feeling this offense. Um, there's some things. Hopefully, they get them fixed because I really like Arkansas. I really like what they're doing. They got the kid from Bixby, the tight end down there. Things. I thought Arkansas had made that next, step. I thought they had took that next step. So let's look at the games for this coming up week in college football. Florida State and Wake Forest early on ABC. Then we got the Breakfast Club game. Uh, Oklahoma versus Kansas Breakfast Club game early. Tickets as low as $14. Uh, Penn State, Indiana. Some of these games. South Carolina, Texas A&M. That's gonna be. Jimbo's really on the hot seat down in Texas A&M. He's got to finish out strong. Houston and Kansas State. I mean, it don't get no easier. But if Kansas State wins this game, I mean, you think about it. They do have Texas, I think. They could easily make the Big 12 championship. It's not the sexiest matchup for the Big 12. Of course, the Big 12 wants uh, OU and Texas, but Kansas can mess around and make it. You know what I'm saying? Look out for them. Look out for Kansas. Maybe they can do some things. Uh, Go to Clemson, NC State. Miami and Clemson. That was a really good game. Clemson defense is pretty damn good. You notice that I talk a lot about defenses because defenses are getting better. They're learning all this stuff that the refs are going to call, and they are getting better within the rules. There's not a lot of targetings being called. They're becoming, real good defenses. Man, are really good tacklers. Um, so Clemson and Miami game was really good. Ruben Bain is amazing. He's one of the best freshmen. I mean, I seen Joey Bosa. I mean, Nick Bosa. It's been some guys. It's only been a handful of guys that I can remember stepping in as a freshman and handling their business like Nick Bosa, like Ruben Bain is doing right now. Ruben, um, and that game went into overtime, and Miami was able to pull it off. Clemson is everybody would say Clemson is having a bad year, but it goes back to what I was saying. They are breaking in a new quarterback, and you're gonna have growing pains. He didn't start enough last year for them to say he's established. So he's learning a lot on the run. I think he found his future connection with his tight end. Things will get better for Clemson. Dabo's not a loser. He's not going to lose more than 4 games this year, and that's a bad year for him. So, he'll get back to the drawing board. But breaking in a new quarterback, I'm telling you, it's rough, especially when you got a tough schedule. Um, Texas and BYU, I'm anxious to see this kid from Texas, this quarterback. A lot of people are saying this is his audition to transfer in the transfer portal. Um, he can throw it. He can run it. Um, Sooner fans, y'all better hope Texas keeps winning. I know a lot of y'all don't understand that part of it, but you gotta hope they keep winning, and you gotta hope you play them again and beat them again. Yeah, 'cause, if not, you're gonna need a whole lot of help. But let's get back to the subject. Oregon at Utah. Every week the Pac-10 is just showing up, just ready, man. I mean, they're like it blows my mind that they couldn't get a, a TV contract because them there every week they have multiple ranked teams playing each other, and it's an exciting brand of football. It's a mixture of Big 12 and Big 10 football to me. It's a little bit more finesse. It's not as fast paced as the Big 12, but it's not as slow as the Big 10. It's an exciting brand for football to watch. So I don't know why it was so hard for them to get a TV contract. I don't know who was negotiating, but the Pac-12 was breaking up, and this is arguably one of their best years as far as a full conference. And those guys, a lot of those teams will be good next year. Um, so Oregon at Utah, tough game to call. At Louisville, um, lost another game, and they're sitting at number 20. Um, I don't know if I'm favorable of that ranking, but they're sitting at they're sitting at 20. They're gonna play at Louisville. Louisville looks pretty tough at home. I'd say edge Louisville, especially I don't know if Duke's quarterback is playing. So um, that will be interesting to see. USC at Cal. Throw out the record. What if USC loses their third one? I mean, y'all done burned the damn California down for no Lincoln losing two in a row. Just imagine he lose three in a row. Um, I'm looking for the good Ohio State, Wisconsin. I don't know what happened to Wisconsin. Matchups that I really, really like this week. That it's a bunch of trap games. So maybe we could see an upset or two. Um, you know, Iowa State at Baylor. It's some games that some teams could get tripped up. So hopefully, everybody's focused and going. Tennessee at Kentucky. Kentucky's not ranked this week, but they were. That could be a good game. You know, and when you see weeks like this where there's not a lot of ranked teams playing, I think we got one ranked, one game where both teams are ranked this week, two games actually. But when you see a week like that and you think, dang, there ain't no good football to watch, those are the weeks that end up being something, that end up being two, three upsets, setting the tone for the rest of the season. This could easily be a shake-up weekend, even though on paper it doesn't look that way. Um, so look, you know, make sure you watch the games. Make sure you check them out. Make sure you're tapping in with the Dondo show. Um, but yeah, there's not a lot that look. There's what they would call sexy. Let's get to the NFL because there was a lot that happened in the NFL this past week. Uh, I thought there was an overreaction to the 49ers losing. Um, in the NFL is about momentum, and there was a lot of question marks going into this week for uh, so you know they go into that week thinking if we don't win, then there's probably going to be some guys traded. So Jaguars and Saints started off a pretty good game. Jaguars late. Um, the Ravens just flat out just beat down. And see, that's what happens to teams in the NFL. Like everybody was saying the Lions were the best team in the NFL after 49ers lost and the Eagles lost. And then they turn around and get thumped. I mean downright thumped. 38-6. It's crazy. And the Lions are a good team. Don't get me wrong, but you got to bring it every week in the NFL. You can get beat. So, um, the Bears beat up on the Raiders. The Bears, DJ Moore, and uh, what's Buddy name? Quarterback name. They are finding a connection with each other, man. They are looking good. Uh, you know, Fields. Fields is his name. They Fields and Moore are if they keep those guys together, they'll easily be one of the best combinations in the league. They're just getting used to playing with each other. But the Bears beat the Raiders 30-12. I don't know what the Raiders do after this year if they don't. The Josh McDaniels experiment doesn't look like it's working. He's traded. This is his third quarterback he's had there. I thought he should have stayed with Derek Carr. Garoppolo doesn't look. Garoppolo when he was with the 49ers, he did make some plays, but then he'd do some bullshit too. So you got to expect that. And then he's playing on a team that doesn't have quite the weapons that a 49ers did. The Browns with a big victory, jumping to 4-2. Um, Myles Garrett is the only player that I've seen that's comparable to him, like in his size and stature, is Julius Peppers. And Myles Garrett's probably taller, and I don't know which one of them's more athletic. But Myles Garrett, I mean, he jumped over the line and blocked a field goal. He had several sacks. Uh, he looks like a defensive MVP right now. Um, and I seen an interview where they were talking to him about playing against Trent Williams, and he smiled. And I'm like, what kind of psychopath smiles when they're going against the best left tackle in the league? Like, Myles Garrett is amazing. He made some plays. He down the stretch he won that game for the Browns. They're at 4-2. I think it's been a while since they've been 4-2 or had four victories this late, this early in the season. I watched part of that Bills and Patriots game. Patriots were up, and then I thought they gave it up. I was like, damn, they let the Bills come back. Patriots go back down and score. Mac Jones, he lives to fight another day. Bills dropped to 4-3. This it's gritting time in the NFL. The Giants, the Giants actually look good with Tyrod Taylor. Like Defense played. This is the second week. And, and what's crazy is that Tyrod Taylor was the first starting quarterback, a black quarterback, to get a victory for the Giants. Like that is a crazy, crazy, crazy stat for them to have played football over 100 years, and that's the first time a black quarterback's won a game for you. Shouts out to Tyrod Taylor, man. You keep cashing them checks. You keep proving that you should be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Hats off to you, man. You played a really, really good game. The stats won't say it, but you made plays to help your team win. Falcons and the Buccaneers, I didn't get to see much of that. It was a fight for NFC South supremacy. Falcons end up winning that one 16-13. Falcons seem like they're turning the corner. Buccaneers are still there. They didn't play bad. They didn't play good. Uh, but it's going to be interesting, that conference, who wins that conference. The Steelers get another victory, and the Rams got kind of fucked at the end of that game. But the Steelers get another victory, and they jump to 4-2. That AFC North. I think it's AFC. Is it the AFC North? Um, Bengals is getting hot. Steelers getting hot. Ravens is good. The Browns. I mean, it's gonna be tough to see. I'm anxious to see who's gonna win that division. I mean, it's everybody's peaking. At the right time. The Seahawks, they're flying under the radar, man. They're pretty good, 4-2. Cardinals at 1-6. At this point, I don't think you bring Kyler back this year. Like, why? You're out of playoff contention. The only thing that can happen is him getting hurt. I think he's setting the rest of the year. I haven't heard any reports on when he's coming back, but 1-6, I would not let him come back. The Broncos getting their second victory. The Packers on growing pains, with a young quarterback, growing pains. Chiefs and Chargers was another good game. Chiefs, ended up pulling out the Chargers, sitting there 2-4. Man, they've had some tough losses, back to back losses. Dolphins and the Eagles was a good game. Eagles end up pulling. I do not like that quarterback sneak play. I don't like it because it can't be stopped. You can't stop it. Like it's kind of bullshit. They need to change the rules on that on the sneak. They need to have the college rule on that where you can't help them go forward because he's got guys pushing them forward. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Somebody, mark my words, that play is going to get somebody hurt one day. Um, the 49ers and the Vikings, like I said, Kirk Cousins had a great game. Um, what's up, man?
Could you sign this for me? It's like a permission slip.
For what?
Church thing. It's a concert we're going to, and they're wanting to take us.
Do you need a sign right now?
Yeah, they're outside waiting. So I was like kind of hesitant to give it to you
What?
because you're on your live. I didn't want to disturb you.
It's all good.
What's up, everybody?
They can't see you.
Oh, what's up, everybody? The one and only Zane Train.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we talked about, sorry about that, the 49ers and Vikings game. Kirk Cousins played well. Listen, the rookie wide receiver looked like he's going to be the real deal. When they get Justin Jefferson back, I would not be surprised if they don't make a run to, the Lions, them and the Lions, trying to battle that for that division. I would not be surprised if the Vikings do not win that division. Several teams on the bye, so let's get to week 8 in the NFL and see. Tomorrow night we got the Buccaneers at the Bills. Should be a good game. Um, I would lean towards the Bills in that game. Then we got the Texans at the Panthers. Texans are playing ball. Panthers are 0-6. Oh man, tough, 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 tough. Rams and the Cowboys. Rams at Cowboys. That let's see how the Cowboys come off of that bye. If they come off of that bye and play ball, then they could string together some wins and start to put it together. Um, I can't stand the Cowboys, but I still have faith in Dak. I don't think Dak is as bad as y'all say he is. I think he needs help. Um, he at times the only receiver seems like he wants to play is CD Lamb. All the rest of the guys are come and go, but he's starting to find Cooks. He's starting to try to get I forget his fucking name, man. He pisses me off so much because he's up and down. I can't think of his name, but that's a very interesting game. Vikings at the Packers. See, Vikings got another game. They could easily be 4-4 after this week after a horrendous start. Colts and the Saints, both teams at 3-4, should be interesting. Dolphins have the Patriots at in Miami. Um, you know, Patriots are just fighting for their lives, man. Oh shit. Uh, Jets at, at Jets at the Giants. Battle of New York gonna be tough. Edge to the Jets probably, but the Giants are playing ball. Jaguars and the Steelers, huge game at Steelers. That's gonna be a game that I'm gonna pencil in and I'm gonna watch that one. Falcons at the Titans. Titans are getting rid of guys. They saying Derrick Henry might get traded in the next few days. Falcons. I would assume if they lose this game, there's going to be some trade to be made. They already traded one of their starting safeties away to the Eagles. Eagles at Commanders. I think earlier this year the Commanders played them pretty tough. It's hard for me to call them the Commanders, but I know that's their new name. I just grew up, calling what they were called before then. But I understand, why it was done. But the Commanders could easily win this game. Browns and the Seahawks. It's a battle of 2-4-2 teams. Let's see how the Browns go back to back road games, and let's see because that defense will travel. That defense is tough. Um, so that's going to be I wouldn't, 21, 17, something like that game. It's going to be a tough one. Ravens at the Cardinals. Golly, the Cardinals is getting picked on, man. It's crazy. Chiefs and the Broncos. Uh, let's see. That one's always a tough one, even when the Broncos is horrible. But even when they're horrible, the Chiefs, they're still in there making it a game. So let's see how that one goes. 49ers at the Bengals, that's another game the 49ers could lose. They have to come and play. They need a victory. They don't want to go to 5-3, especially with the schedule they got down the road. The Bengals are coming off a bye week. So very interesting to see how that game goes. Bears and the Chargers. We why they didn't flex that game out? I mean, no one wants to see the Bears at the Chargers on Sunday night. Like flex somebody out. Uh, and then we got the Raiders at the Lions. Raiders win though that game, then they might be, it could be something. But like I said, there's a lot of good football played this past week. More good football coming. Um, I just stay tuned. You know, um, I really want to talk about the sign stealing um, scandal that's going on right now. Um, don't think, and I could be wrong. I don't think Harbaugh let something like that just occur with him knowing, just knowing who he is. I don't think he lets that occur. But there's been a lot of speculation that Brent Venables has done it in the past. So who's looking into the improvements they had this year from last year? And I'm not saying that it's being done, but it's quote unquote it was being done in the past at Clemson. What's not to say he didn't bring it to this school? So before you get to pointing the finger at other teams, make sure your ship is running right. Because I know on Twitter they getting on his head about that. So the scandal has been, the guy that was supposedly paying people to go to the games was on the sideline. I've got to read a little bit more into it. I'm just bits and pieces. But I do not think it affects Michigan in the polls. I don't think it affects them this year. They still have some tough games. They still have to play Penn State. They still have to play Ohio State. Let's see how they do in those games. I would favor them in every game they have left, but when you have speculation like that and a lot of things going on, a lot of extra off the field shit, sometimes that affects your play in real life. So we shall see how Michigan looks down the stretch. Um, so um, that is a thing that I wanted to talk about. Thank you. We're still looking for sponsors for the Dondo show. If you want to be a sponsor, get at me. Let me know what's going on. It's only going to get bigger from here. I'm finally serious about this pod and everything. So, you know, I'm going to take it slowly. I'm not going to be Joe Rogan overnight, but I know what I'm capable of, and I feel comfortable doing this. So tap in with me, share my status, share my likes. I mean, share my my pages to your friends. So it was good talking to y'all. I'll see y'all Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Again, Wednesday at 8. That's the times we're doing. Also, check out for the new uh, podcast coming. Streets is talking. Um, this is not going to be about sports. It's going to be more about the streets and mess and stuff like that. What's going on in the Twitter world and things of that nature. I'm really excited about that one. So make sure you check out Streets is Talking podcast coming soon. Um, everything's a go. Any high school, any high school good football, let me know. I'll start covering high school football too. It's Don Dada. Appreciate you. Y'all have a good one.